Hello everybody, Donkey here, and yes, we are back with some more War Thunder. But this is going to be a bit of a different War Thunder video. This is going to be the start of a new series where I will be looking at the history of British aviation and the famous planes that made the modern fighter plane what it is today. And we start this new series off with the daddy of all fighter planes, the Spitfire. This is where it all begins for me. Planes before the Spitfire were slow, they were flimsy, and they were downright dreadful. The Spitfire is where the modern fighter plane story really begins. It is sort of the beginning of the modern era, the beginning of what a fighter plane should be and what role it should play on the battlefield. I should probably explain why I'm doing this series to begin with. I wanted to learn a bit more about British aviation, and I wanted to learn a bit more about the planes, the famous planes, the ones that you don't hear about so much. I wanted to learn a bit more about them and sort of where they came from, the specs, and what sort of battles they fought. The second reason that I am doing this series is I want to learn how to play the planes in War Thunder. I'm primarily a armor player. I play with the tanks and the armor in War Thunder, but I've never really delved into the planes too much, and I want to really learn them, and I'm going to be doing it in this series. Every plane has its own quirk, its own tips, its own play style, and learning that will get you the kills and get you the win in War Thunder. So yeah, if you also want to learn how to play these planes in War Thunder, you can follow along with me. We'll learn together. So down below, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these videos. We'll learn the planes together. So this is how the structure of the videos is going to go. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history at the start and talk a little bit about the plane in question. This time it is the Spitfire. Then there'll be some nice background shots playing. I will then jump into a live game and we will put into practice what we've learned about the plane, and we will put into practice what we've learned about how to play it in War Thunder, and we will see if we can successfully fly and successfully get kills with the plane. In question, the Spitfire, there is a wiki online. I will leave it down below, and it does go into depth on how to play the Spitfire in War Thunder. So we will be reading that, we will be looking at that, and we will put it into practice. But first, the history and a little bit about the Spitfire. So with the Nazi war machine rocking up to the English Channel, many felt that Britain would be next to fall to the Reich, just like France and Belgium had before it. And the decision by the Nazi High Command was to soften English infrastructure through bombing raids. Thus, the Battle of Britain was born. But despite all of the tragedy and terrible bombing raids that took place over Britain, the air defence was firm. And at the centre of that defence was the Spitfire. Against all odds, the Spitfire gave the Germans a run for their money. Only a handful of aircraft have become famous and synonymous with the nations that they fought for, and the Spitfire is one of them. When you think of Britain and World War II, the Spitfire instantly comes to mind. Now, the Spitfire arrived into service a year before the war broke out, and they held it in reserve in the beginning of the war because it wasn't tested and they were not sure how it would perform. Instead, its cousin, the Hawker Hurricane, was the one that was going over across the channel in the defence of France. It quickly came clear to the RAF that the Hawker Hurricane was no match for the German firepower in the air. The Germans had the Bf-109, which was synonymous for taking out Hurricanes, and so the Spitfire was thrust into service, and it really was unleashed upon the Germans. Now, the Spitfire served in many different battles and many different countries during World War II and even after World War II. It was mainly the British Commonwealth countries and those that were a part of the British Empire, but it did see service all over the world. I personally would say that the Spitfire paved the way for modern fighter planes and changed the game when it came to air-to-air combat. It basically showed what a fighter plane could do and the abilities that it had in the air. Okay, so that was sort of a brief history of the Spitfire. If you want to learn more, you can go learn a lot more, but I'm just sort of briefly summarizing. Okay, so we're going to look at some specs for the Spitfire right now, and then we'll look at some in-game stuff. So the Spitfire had a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, and this is probably the best sounding engine mankind has ever heard in its existence. It is beautiful sounding, and it managed to get the Spitfire up to a top speed of 370 miles an hour. The guns on the Spitfire Mk1, what we're looking at today, it had a 303 Browning Mark II, and it had ×8 of those, so it had 4 in each wing. Overall, they built about just over 20,000 of them, which doesn't seem a lot today, but the production back then was very hands-on, and it wasn't like the production lines we have today. So 20,000 was quite good actually back in the 40s, and I mean there is only a handful of Spitfires left in the world still flying. Okay, so now we're going to go over a little brief summary of what the Spitfire is like in-game in War Thunder. So in War Thunder, it is a 2.3 battle rating, and that is in arcade battle and sim battle. It is a 2.7 in realistic. The Spitfire Mk1 has an excellent climb rate and a top speed of 460 kilometers per hour when flying in a straight line. It also possesses a very quick turning ability. This means that you're going to be able to outmaneuver most things at this BR. Okay, usage in battles. The Spitfire should first climb. Using its excellent rate of climb, this should be done more efficiently in 2 ways, depending on the preference of the pilot. If you want to get high really quickly, without having covered much distance, you can start off at a 26-degree climb until about 4 kilometers, which is about 13,000 feet. After which you should lower the nose of the aircraft down to a 20-degree climb if you want to gain altitude. The other way is starting off at a 20-degree and just climbing steadily. So once you're at the desired altitude, you'll be able to attack bombers with the Spitfire. You shouldn't attack a bomber from the rear. If you fail a head-on, it is not recommended you turn around and attack the bomber. Strafe the bomber from head-on, because usually bombers of this tier don't have guns in the front, so they're not going to shoot you from the front. But they do have guns in the rear and on the dorsal. So basically, once you're at altitude, strafe a bomber. Don't turn back. If you're going to turn back on a bomber, try and get back in front of it. But never attack a bomber from the rear. The Spitfire is at a disadvantage in head-ons due to its lack of armament in the centre of the plane. Okay, so the BF-109 has a big gun in the front of the nose, directly in the centre of the aircraft. That means when it's going head on, it can do some damage. The Spitfire has guns on the wings, so on a head on, the Spitfire is not going to do as well. So you want to try and avoid head ons. If you do get into a head on with the Spitfire, you want to basically fake it. You want to basically at the last minute turn away, or just as soon as the enemy starts firing, turn away. Then you can sort of do a turn maneuver back onto that plane, and because the Spitfire is really agile and it will be able to turn and take out that enemy. But yeah, if you're in a head-on, don't fight it. Don't commit to a head-on. I would say don't commit to a head-on in any plane, because normally what people do is they just crash into you. But with the Spitfire, you're not going to win that. Okay, so armed with this knowledge, we're going to jump into a live game and we're going to put it into practice. Hopefully we can get some kills with the Spitfire. Okay, so we are here with the Spitfire Mk1A, and we're just going to get ourselves into a nice position here. Now in game, this is a battle rating of 2.3, and it has been in the game ever since open beta. And what you see here is what the wiki recommends on how to play the Spitfire. If I just go... So, how to use the Spitfire in an engagement. The Spitfire is at a disadvantage on head-ons due to the lack of armament in the centre of the nose. So, like the BF-109, the BF-109 is great for head-ons because... Is there someone beneath me? There is. We might actually dive on them. This is how you play the Spitfire. Climb out of the way of the battle and then dive on people. If somebody's coming head-on at you in the Spitfire, you want to break off it. You don't want to take them head-on because they're just going to shred you, especially if it's a BF-109. This guy might end up killing this guy. I kind of wish I had a bit of an air brake, but we'll just slow our speed. I am running stealth rounds, so... Oh, I thought I was. Right, we'll come back around. We're pushing about 16 Gs, but it should be fine. My crew's quite... And we got that guy. And now we'll go for a bit more of a climb. So yeah, try and avoid head-ons. This guy is broke off, that's okay. Try and avoid head-ons. Because this fighter is a turn fighter. You will do much better if you turn on people. And is this guy going to attempt something? Now you got to remember the Spitfire has such a good climb rate. Thanks to that Merlin engine. It's got a really good climb rate, the Spitfire. You don't even have to full power this thing to get it to climb. You can sort of sit at 100, at a 20% climb. 20 degree, I should say, sorry. 20 degree climb. And this thing will climb very nicely. Now we've got a Hurricane. Those were phased out. Well, no, they weren't phased out, but they weren't as good as the Spitfire. He's stalled, so we should be able to mop him up here. There we go. You see how he was trying to chase that guy upwards, and he stalled the plane. Now we got a BF-109 on our tail. The Baron has shown himself. This guy tried to climb at us. He couldn't quite do it though, I think. But yeah, at the start of the game there, just sort of climb away from the battle at a 20 degree climb. And then start diving on people. We have got somebody below us. I think he just tried to climb on us. That's okay, we're going to dive on him. It's a bomber. And with bombers, you can attack them, but try not to attack them from the back, because their rear guns and dorsal guns will shred you to pieces, and you don't really want to deal with that. What you want to do is a strafing run like that and break off. Break off, come from the side, and you won't get shredded by guns. And there we go. We can dive on this guy as well. Coming in a bit fast here, but we can... Ooh, he's been done in. Got that guy. Dealt with him. And again, we'll go for another climb. We're sort of just chilling in this zone. We are losing the battle, though. That guy might need our help. But yeah, it's just doing this sort of climb, dive maneuver with the Spitfire. Try and get this guy. We are upgunning them in this game, I think. We have got 8 guns after all. The Browning Mark 3s, I think they are. And we are out. We'll have to back off because there's quite a few planes coming in. We might try and... We've got quite a bit of speed, so we can try and climb a little bit. Okay, they left us alone. Go back to a 20. And we'll have to turn on this. Whoa. Okay, here we go. This is a true test now of the Spitfire. We're getting peppered by everybody. Wings are down. No, we couldn't do it. Too many of them. The Baron showed himself. Okay, so we are back with the Spitfire in another game. And this time I have a custom user skin on this. The Battle of Britain skin. And we are running the tail number Popper 9374. And it is a very nice skin, I must admit. The Battle of Britain skin. I couldn't find a game on the Battle of Britain, unfortunately, but we'll do okay. Last game went okay. We got a few kills. I'm not expecting anything high, but I'm hoping we can get a few here. Put into practice what we know. Everybody's sort of gone for the center. I'm hoping to dive on this guy maybe at some point. No, he's gone. We're going to head over to these bombers, I think. As we are high enough. He's dived. Try and chase this guy down. We are going about 330 miles per hour, which is about our top speed, to be honest. Well, our top speed is about 370, I think. But we should be able to catch this guy if we're lucky. We're getting closer. Shouldn't really attack a bomber from the back. I can hear something. It is below us though. We're okay at the moment. Yeah, it shouldn't really attack a bomber from the back. That's why. The rear guns will shred you to pieces. But you see how I dipped down and went to the rear, the underneath of the plane? That's because his rear gun couldn't reach me down there. That's why he stopped firing. Could dive on that guy. I don't really want to get involved down below, to be honest. Kind of want to take out another bomber if I can, because that's what's going to win us the game overall. He's taking out them bombers. That guy's a bit low for me. Could go for that guy. He's sort of diving, I think, no. Yeah, he's sort of dived. I don't really want to dive. And we got another Spitfire up in the air. This is where the Spitfire is going to do the most damage, is up here. Because none of these are going to be able to climb at us. Because they're just going to end up stalling. Alright, let's turn back. Sort of just playing the long game up here, but I don't think it's going to do us very good. Let's dive. Let's dive on this guy. It's a biplane, HE-51. Biplanes can be a little bit difficult as they can outmaneuver the Spitfire as they're lighter. And we are coming down on him pretty fast, bearing down. So I'm just going to back off the speed. I think he's noticed us. Okay, so we'll now have to climb again, I think. Come on then, try and chase us. He hasn't. See, this biplane's not going to be able to chase us if we go straight up. And there we go. That's how it's done. We got anybody on our tail? Not really. Let's climb again. That's where the Spitfire's gonna do the damage, is just climbing, dropping down on people. I don't really want to engage that. There's too many enemy players there. And all my team's over there. It's all about playing it smart. It's all about playing it like a wolf. I'm only going to attack somebody if they're sort of away from the pack, like this guy. He sort of left his team. He's gone a bit rogue. He might have noticed us. What you don't want to do is for him to pull you back to the pack. That lag 3 is coming over. Go on, turn back. I can hear something above me that I don't like. We are losing this, unfortunately. Yep. Critical hit. Is that a biplane? Oof. Now he's going to be able to outmaneuver us, I think, unless he makes a mistake. Aircraft destroyed. He almost took us out there. IL-2's coming straight at us. I'm out of guns. I need to bail that. Don't want to do a head-on. Try and get behind him. Come on, guns. MGs are back in 32. We got wrecked. I don't want to get too confident. We're sort of just going to operate in this area. There's people above us. I think we're going to lose this battle, unfortunately, which is a bit unfortunate. I think those are AI. Yeah, they are. It's a bit unfortunate we're going to lose this battle, but we've had how many plane kills? 4 plane kills, which is pretty decent, actually, at this BR. We haven't really gone incredibly hard on the other team. We've sort of played our hand a little bit and just played it slow. Now this might P26. Whew, that guy was close. Those 8 guns. Ooh, we're being attacked. Those 8 guns are deadly on the Spitfire. You can just like keep firing at them. Sustained fire. This could be tricky. There's people in the way. I could get it. Got him. Where's that other guy? I think he's behind us. He's being dealt with. Guy's a bit far, but he's going for the main base. We lost the game anyway. But what did we do? We did 6 air kills. Not too bad. Not too bad. So that was the Spitfire Mk1. We had a look at the history of the Spitfire, and we had a look at how to play it in War Thunder. And overall, I think that it's a really, really good aircraft. It's amazing in real life. It's really good and really fun to play in War Thunder once you know how to play it correctly instead of just charging in. If you play it correctly, you can get a lot of kills. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I was using the user skin on this, the Battle of Britain user skin, and our tail number was Popper 9378 374. And yeah, if you want to download this skin, I will leave a link down below. But anyway, if you really liked this sort of video, this sort of in-depth history and how to play in-game video, let me know, because I want to do a whole series on all the famous and not so famous British aircraft. I want to learn them all, and I want to learn how to use them correctly. If you too want to learn how to use them correctly, subscribe down below so you don't miss any of my videos. Alright, that was the Spitfire Mk1. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.